Welcome to K-Drama Recaps, your one-stop shop for all things K-Drama. If you're new around here, just a heads up, spoilers ahead. With that out of the way, remember what I said in the episode 1 recap about this show jumping around in the timeline a lot? Well, this time we are taken back yet again to Osaka in 1975. High school Solomon and some friends are hanging out at a school when Hana takes him away rather rudely by his hand. It's clear they are either close friends or more than friends given their interaction in the scene. They end up at the local corner market and Hana lays on the peer pressure for him to shoplift. Just as they're about to make their escape, the shopkeeper catches Solomon and he gets arrested. Ozasu tries to plead with the officer for leniency given that this is Solomon's first offense, but the officer doesn't relent. Suddenly, the officer gets a call from a powerful friend who orders him to release Solomon. Who this powerful friend is remains a mystery, but to fans of the show, it should be fairly obvious who the friend is. As they leave the station, Solomon apologizes to his father, but Musasu is convinced Hana's influence will ruin his son, so he informs Solomon that he will be sent to the United States. Osaka, 1931. Sunja and Kyunghee are in the doghouse with Yosep because of their paying off his debt. It isn't the fact that they paid it off that he's angry about. He's concerned that this hurts his reputation and street cred. He's clearly ashamed and storms off to drown his sorrows in alcohol. In perfect dramatic timing, Sunja's water breaks and the baby is well on his way. Tokyo, 1989. Hana has been found. But things are not looking good as she has been diagnosed with AIDS and the hospital does not want to treat her because of the fear of infecting others in the hospital. Fortunately, a young doctor steps in and volunteers to make Hana comfortable in her last days. Ikaino, 1931. Isak is comforting one of his parishioners who fears that her son is involved with the wrong crowd at work. Isak promises to talk to the young man. It turns out the young man is angry at the way Koreans are treated in Japan, and he's involved in a group that wants to do something about that. His mind is made, and there is nothing Isak will be able to do to convince him otherwise. Back in Tokyo 1989, Solomon tries to persuade Hana to get treatment in the US, but she instead tells him how she ended up catching AIDS, and why she has lived the life she has lived. At the end of her diatribe, she adds in a barb specifically for Solomon, that no matter how hard he tries to fit in with the Americans or the Japanese, he is never going to become one of them. In the next scene, Solomon is back at his office, but no longer as an employee. He boxes his personal effects from his former office, and when he reaches the ground floor, he casts the entire box angrily into the fountain. As he stands there, Mamoru Yoshi interrupts the moment Solomon is having. It seems both men have a not-so-stellar reputation in common. Back to Osaka, 1931. Isak returns home and is shocked to find his wife in labor. However, Sunja asks him not to worry about her and tells him to go find his brother and bring him back home. Isak finds Yosep at the local watering hole, getting drunk and picking fights with other people in the bar, all the while boasting that he comes from a noble lineage in Korea. The men mock him because his lineage means nothing in a country that views his people as subhuman. While the brothers are drinking and reminiscing about the past, the Japanese police barge into the bar and start harassing the customers. Yosep confides in Isaac about his feelings of rebellion, which is a foreshadowing of what is to come to the family in future episodes. Back to the future in Tokyo. Yoshi and Solomon are getting to know each other. It seems that both have much in common. Yoshi brings up Solomon's history with Pachinko parlors and shares his plan on opening them up for himself in other countries. Solomon wonders what Yoshi's intentions are, but he is definitely intrigued. At the hospital, Granny Sunja tends to Hana. Hana gets hostile towards Sunja because she was under the impression that Sunja was the one who encouraged her to leave the house, afraid that they will ruin Solomon's life. Sunja gets confused hearing this and remarks that she did not have Hana in mind when she said that. Instead, she tells Hana of her first son Noah and did not want to repeat the same mistake with her grandson Solomon. This confession seems to comfort Hana, who is now able to let go of the anger that bound her for so long. Back in 1931, Sunja is having trouble delivering the baby until their neighbor arrives to assist. After a lot of effort, the baby is born and just in time too, because Isak and Yosep arrive at home and they are surprised to see the new child in Sunja's arms. Sunja asks Yosep to name the baby as the head of the household. He names him Noah. The last scene of this episode takes place in Koansu's lavish home, surrounded by a beautiful Zen garden. Ko stoically and without emotion tells his wife that another woman has succeeded where she has failed, and he now has a male heir. He then frees her from her conjugal duties. If you enjoyed this episode of K-Drama Recaps, press that like button and subscribe to our channel as this helps our content get out to more eyeballs. Is there a Korean drama that you'd like us to recap? Let us know in the comments below and hopefully we can cover that drama in future episodes. See you in the next episode.